You gonna filter out the swears? Okay, good. Because I'm gonna swear like a friggin' trucker. Although I just said friggin'. Doesn't make any sense, Scotty. Shut the hell up, we're filming a TV show! I don't know, should I address the camera or should I just act normal? Wrapping up the week, right?
Okay, it's Thanksgiving week, and pretty exciting. I really like Thanksgiving, always have. It's always obviously complicated holiday too. Everyone's trying to all get together, and the bigger your family, the harder it is to do that. But this year we're hosting, so I'm kind of excited about that as well. And having some turkey and some pie, and it's gonna be great. But that being said, Thanksgiving is the kickoff to Christmas season, and it is gonna be a crazy one this year, I think. Really tough to say how things are gonna go, because the economy has been wonky. So I don't know. We'll see. But everybody is panicking. Anyway, so I got a couple bits after this one, talking about the toys around Christmas time and stuff, and I plan to continue that out. You'll also see, I'm looking at doing some sort of little shorts with maybe some of the Toy Talks sort of split out into smaller bits. Heard some people sort of say that it's maybe a little bit long, and the format of the way we had done this back in 2008, when Scotty set it all up, was it's sort of classic YouTube. So it may need just a rejiggering, but we're gonna still do the long format, but then maybe include some short bits. I might throw some in the middle of the week sometime. I don't know. Still playing around with it, but want it to be a little bit sort of a work in progress always, and then tweaking and seeing what could happen. And at the end of the day, nobody's really watching, so it doesn't really matter. So cool. Okay, so I said we would talk a little bit about Christmas last episode, and I want to show you guys a toy that was connected to Christmas memory as a childhood, and it goes back to the Micronauts. So this is the Micronaut called Biotron, and let me get the whole thing in here. And 1970s sort of buildable figures. A lot of these components came out apart and could be reassembled. Biotron was a pretty big Micronaut. So there was a lot to him, different things that would come apart on him, like the legs came off and the knees would come apart, and you could reassemble them into all different kinds of configurations. Really cool toy. They even have all the Micronauts came with these figures. So some of actually I don't think this one came with the figure, but these were part of it. So, and you could put the Micronaut inside Biotron here. This little piece would come out, and then you could put the figure inside here, and they have this little attachment points you could attach it with, and then it would go inside there, and then this would go over. I would show you exactly how that works, but I'm always trying to be really careful about the plastic with some of these older toys, because it gets really brittle over time, and a lot of these friction joints are really loose. The plastic sort of shrinks. It's definitely. This is actually in really good shape. This is not the original that I had when we were kids. Actually, Brianna got this for me. I don't know if it was my birthday last year, but she's been buying me Micronauts. And the cool thing, about this one is that it's a lot of these toys they got played with pretty well. So this one actually doesn't have a lot of scuffing, and then somebody put the stickers on really well. I don't think we did that when we were kids. These were also motorized, so there's a little switch here that would operate the tracks on the back, and it's actually really rare that these tracks would still be intact. They're they're rubber, so they tend to fall apart over time. But this one still had the tracks on it. And then what's really cool is this one came with the box. Now it's not in great condition, as most of these things would not be, but you get a little bit of a sense in some of the pictures of how like you could reconfigure Biotron, and this cool sort of schematic on the back of all the pieces and parts that came apart with it. Overall, still in pretty decent shape considering, but yeah, but pretty exciting. This is another toy made by Mego, 1975. So it's up there in age, but this is the time frame that we were kids. So the story that I have to tell, I guess I wasn't a very good kid, but we were looking around in my parents' closet for Christmas presents. I don't know. I still believed in Santa, but I thought my parents were buying presents too, and so we found Biotron. It was me and my little brother found Biotron. It may have been me first, and then I showed him, because I was terrible corrupting my little brother. And I found Biotron in the closet first, and we were so excited. My parents both worked, so we were home, and we took it out of the box and played with it, and then put it back in and taped it carefully before Christmas. So what ended up happening was on Christmas, when this showed up, which we were, excited about, there wasn't many other presents besides the ones that we were aware of. And that really confounded us, because we thought that Santa would bring more presents. So it ended up being a whole thing where we were disappointed, and my mom cried, and it was all my fault. Sorry, Mom. I didn't know. But yeah, so that happened. But Micronauts, big part of my childhood. And there's always some kind of story that goes along with the toys. But I was always trying to hold on to my childhood, always trying to find ways to still be a kid, and as you can tell now, I've embraced it rather than be ashamed of it, which was one of the things that happens as you get older. So, right, so I'm gonna talk. I actually have another piece in here that you'll be happy is not included, where I'm doing a little thing where I talk about stuff and it gets all serious, and Brianna told me it was totally not funny, so it's not in here. But what I am going to talk about, since it's just going to be all Thanksgiving, is the specific memories I've had as a child about some of the things in Thanksgiving. Maybe there'll be things you remember too, but I don't know. The first one is those tiny butter mints. I don't know if you guys, when I was a kid, my grandmother had, or we called her my meme, had like tons of them all over the place. And we would eat countless numbers of mints, and then we'd start experimenting, putting them in things like soda, and like we would just make all kinds of concoctions with these butter mints, because we were sort of uncontrolled children at the children's table, which was another piece that, the adults would be in the other room, we'd be in the breezeway with the children's tables, and it was like Lord of the Flies out there. Anything goes. We'd do things with food, and then we'd, wreck the place accidentally. We didn't know what we were doing. It was interesting. So, and then the other thing that I remember distinctly was comic books. So my mom didn't allow us to read comic books at our house, but my meme, she had lots of them. So every time we were over there, we would sit around and read comic books, and the football game would be on, because that was my Pepe wanted to have the football game on because it was Sunday. We didn't know anything about football. We didn't know anything about sports. We'd be sitting there reading comics, and someone would be like, "Hey, what's the score?" And we'd be like, "I don't know." And what's wrong with you kids? We didn't know anything about football. We were into comics, so, and we were deprived of the comics. And then you can see the effect. This is what's happened. It didn't work. It didn't work. So anyway, and then my mom also didn't allow us to have soda. And so my grandmother, she had like gallons of soda, And so we would just drink soda nonstop. Meme, can I have some more soda? Can I have some more soda? It would just go on and on and on all day long. And she had the patience of a saint. She would give us soda. Okay, here you go. Just like endlessly. She never cut us off. She never said, oh, that's enough soda for you. She would just pour us soda until the end of time. So it was amazing. She knew how to gain our love. That worked. And then there was my grandparents had a basement that had a ping pong table in it. I don't know. We would get into all sorts of trouble with the ping pong table, around the ping pong table, and then there was another room around the back where it was my Pepe was a mechanical engineer. He was a tool maker. And he had all this machinery back there, all very dangerous. Very dangerous. He told us, do not go back there, which was a mistake because that's where we wanted to go. We wanted to go back there and check out this strange stuff and how cool it was. And then it was always dark. And then he'd come down and be like, what the hell are you guys doing? And he'd be looking for us because we weren't by the ping pong table. We were missing. We were in the closets. We were down in the mechanical room. You know, we were always getting into all kinds of trouble. And that was my Pepe's favorite line. What the hell are you guys doing? He'd say that constantly. We would go out into the woods too. He had this big like drop off past his house. It was like 50 feet down, and that was where we went to. We went down into what was called the dingle. I don't know why they called it the dingle, but it was the dingle. We went down into the dingle, and it was swampy down there, and we would get filthy and come back disgusting, and we were, trudging through the woods. My cousin Steve was like a woodsman, and he'd be pulling snakes out, and we'd be looking for Sasquatch or whatever the heck we were doing out there, and that was Thanksgiving when I was little. And then there's one other memory I'm going to throw in there. It's a little older. I don't know why it's a Thanksgiving memory for me, but when the NES came out, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, I remember playing that an awful lot around a Thanksgiving weekend once. I was terrible at it. I lost every single time. I don't think I ever even got close to Mike Tyson, but something about it was like fantastic. It was one of the best games for NES at the time. It was spectacular, and so lots and lots of fun around Thanksgiving. Okay, I got another one, and this one is really cool. There was a TV show out called Battlestar Galactica after Star Wars. Everybody wanted space stuff, and back then it took like 3 years to make a movie. So Battlestar Galactica, it may have come in after Empire. I'm not even sure. It was around. It was a TV show that came out. Everyone knows what Battlestar Galactica is. I don't have to explain it. Anyway, this is a video game. Mattel made a bunch of these handhelds in the late 70s, early 80s ish. And this one, they made the football game. Everybody's played it. I've got that one too. Football, baseball, basketball. They had a whole bunch of them. But this one was really cool because it was Battlestar Galactica, and it was, space themed. So I didn't own this game, actually. I really, really wanted it, but I borrowed it from a friend for like a couple days, and I would play this thing like at night, with the lights off because it was illuminated. So this one actually works, which is pretty awesome. I'm gonna turn it on, and you'll see you have like this little, dot here, and you move this dot, and you don't want that dot to get hit, and I just died because I wasn't firing. But you'd fire your missiles with this button. And so you'd move the joystick back and forth to move your. I think the way you reset it. Oh, I instantly died. Ugh. Anyway, you would fire your. I'm gonna just do it so you can hear the sounds because it's pretty cool. Really. Uh-oh. And the idea was to shoot down the missiles that were headed towards you. So anyway, it's really cool. Super simple. I mean, this was the very onset of handheld games. You know, the Atari had just maybe just starting to make its way onto the scene. I don't think the Atari system was out quite yet, but these handhelds were really popular. Just like little dots of light. I think Pong may have been around. This is around the time, so this was really cool, and I have the box for it too. So it has some pictures of Battlestar Galactica. You know, you got the Cylons and the big ship, and I don't remember the name of the big ship necessarily, but Space Alert is what it was called, you know, and it's a super cool game, super fun. You know, like I said, I didn't actually own it. Now I owned it, and when I bought this game, it didn't work. And there's a guy at Lego, actually. He's one of the lawyers. He's one of the lawyers, but he's also like an electrical engineer, and he worked in the model shop, and he fixed it. He fixed it for me, and I'm forever thankful. Thank you, Bob, for fixing it, because it still works. And I thought maybe because he's a genius with electronics that he could, and he fixed it. So there's something about buying, you know, one on eBay that doesn't work. It's like, you know, and then I was like, I wonder if, you know, it could be fixed, and it still works to this day. And that was like 10 years ago that he fixed this. So yeah, really cool, super fun, retro game. Yeah, I'll put that box up too, just so you know. Awesome sort of childhood experience, and yeah, I got lots more. I think I said Happy Thanksgiving at least 15 times during this. I'm going to throw some shorts up this week too, that may be a little bit of fun with Thanksgiving as well, because I have a few days off, and you know what? I'm going to do some Mondays with Chad during the break, and it'll be fun. So I'll see you in a bit, and happy Thanksgiving again.